Hi everyone, how are you doing? Great, excellent. Alright, so in today's session we'll see how we can execute protected test cases from Eclipse. Yes, how to run Protractor test cases from Eclipse IDE. We'll discuss this, number one. After that we'll discuss something about Jasmine framework. And inside Jasmine framework we'll discuss before each. We will also discuss after each. After that we'll see how we can identify elements in Protractor, and we'll write some couple of tests. So how to identify elements in Protractor. After that we'll see how we can execute test cases and how we can see their execution. So running multiple tests, we'll see. Alright, so let's get started. So I have this Eclipse editor, and let me show you what version I have. So I have Eclipse editor. Here you go. The Eclipse version is Eclipse for JavaScript and web developers, and the version is Eclipse Oxygen. Yeah, so I'm using Eclipse Oxygen. Here you can see version Oxygen 3 release. And since Protractor automation, we are using JavaScript as a programming language, so I will recommend go for Eclipse for JavaScript and web developers. So once you have Eclipse ready, after the installation of Eclipse, I have just created a sample project, Protractor automation, which you can create simple. Right click and new and project, right? You can give some name, and after that I have just two files, and you can notice the file extensions are .js. So one I have configuration.js and one is spec1.js. config.js contains some configurations like on which browser I would like to run my test and what framework I am using. So I'll be using Jasmine framework to execute my protected test cases. This is the Selenium address, like where I am running my Selenium server. So if I'm running Selenium server on my local machine, so this is the address, localhost, and on the port 4x4 444. And if Selenium server is running on some remote location, then we can very well give the location of that remote server, I mean the IP address of that remote server. Specs means the test case file which I would like to execute. So in specs we mention the test cases which we would like to execute. Okay, so yeah, in this config we have mainly 4 components: framework, number 2 Selenium address, number 3 specs, and number 4 capabilities. Alright, as you could see, spec is spec1.js, which means my test case in this file, spec1.js. And if I show you the content of spec1.js, it's a simple describe block which represents suit, and it block which represents one test case. So far so good. So let's proceed further. So in this test, it's a very simple test. Like in this test I'm just trying to launch this browser, and whose URL is this. Alright, so this is the URL, the web application URL which I would like to launch using Protractor. Okay, cancel. Okay, so now So this is one test case and config we have ready, and now the question comes how to execute this Protractor test using Eclipse IDE. Okay, so let's get started. You can run in the Eclipse. We have this window. You just need to click on this window and we have options show view. Just click on show view and here you would see different options, and I would like to open terminal, but terminal is not listed over here. So if terminal is not listed, then I will click on this other. After clicking other, and you could see now the terminal block is already available, right? So we just need to click on terminal and just open it. Click on open. So after clicking, terminal will be open. Let me move it down. So now we could see this terminal over here. Okay, and here there's a on the right side of the screen, here you could open a terminal. Just click on this, so it will one pop-up will appear. It says a launch terminal, so you just need to click on OK, and boom, here you go, this terminal is launched, right? So in the terminal we can write our commands to execute Protractor test. Okay, so first of all, we know to run a Protractor test we need to just use Protractor and the configuration config file name, right? Protractor conf.js. Using this, test will start executing. But we should move to the location where our project is. So right now the project is in this Protractor automation, correct? Our project name is Protractor automation. So we should know the location of this project. So what you need to do in the Eclipse IDE, just press Alt Enter. All right, by clicking on Alt key and Enter in combination, Alt Enter, you would see this. So this is the location of my project. C drive, users, my PC. Okay, so this is the location of my project. Just copy it and here change directory CD. Just press Shift Insert. Just paste that location. So right now I'm at the project location, right? Now as we see in the config file, I'm using Selenium address, right? So we have to start our Selenium server, right? Selenium server we have to start. So to start Selenium server we can use the command, in fact we have to use two commands: WebDriver manager update. By running this command, WebDriver manager update, just press on enter. So it will download all the updated Selenium jar files and the relevant drivers. So this command will take care of Selenium related dependencies. So we just need to run this command, WebDriver manager update. Let's see how it goes. So it's trying to connect to some servers where some bindings are available. So it will go and fetch those Selenium dependencies, Selenium jar files, etc. Here you go, the process has started. Selenium standalone, unzipping, Gecko driver, this version, up to date. Boom, that's it. Okay, so all Selenium related stuffs, as you could see, Chrome driver, Gecko driver, Selenium server standalone. So all Selenium related stuffs are now available in our project, right? Next command is WebDriver -manager start. So this WebDriver manager start, it will start this Selenium, and we will see in a while that a message will appear saying that Selenium server is up and running, which means WebDriver manager is a node, I would say a module in Protractor, right? In Node.js we have so many modules, so WebDriver manager is one of the module which takes care of all the Selenium related stuffs. Okay, and so by using WebDriver manager WebDriver Manager start, it will launch the Selenium server, and we should see that message, Selenium server is up and running in a while. Here you go. We could see now Selenium server is up and running on port 4444, which means now Selenium related stuffs are ready. Now we just need to run our Protractor test, this test case which is mentioned in this IT block. This IT block and describe block are from the Jasmine framework. Okay, now we have to open another terminal. So just click on this icon, open a terminal, or you can use the shortcut Control Alt Shift T. So I'll open another terminal. It should launch. Perfect. Again, I'll copy the location of my project. Just press on Alt Enter. Just copy this location. Change directory, CD, Shift Insert. Alright, now I will use the command Protractor conf.js. Conf means config file, this one, where I have specified on what browser I would like to execute my test, on what server I would like to execute my test, and what are my tests, spec1.js, and the framework Jasmine. So this configuration I'm telling Protractor, okay Protractor, run my this configuration. So Protractor will execute this. So to tell Protractor that okay, run my config file, so you have to type in the command Protractor conf.js. Just press enter. Now it should launch Chrome browser and it should navigate to this URL angularjs.org. So this way we can execute our Protractor test in Eclipse IDE. This is one of the way. There is one more way wherein we can create some run configuration in Eclipse, and we'll see that as well in our upcoming sessions. But for now I'm just trying to show you that we can execute our Protractor test in the Eclipse IDE using this terminal. As you can see in the logs, like it's running one instance of WebDriver, this one, and it should launch the browser, Chrome browser, and it should navigate to the URL angularjs.org. My system is a bit slow, so it's taking time. As you could see, this Chrome browser is launched and it should navigate to that URL. It is the Chrome browser, that's the reason. I mean, it is not loaded yet, so we could not see that it's a Chrome browser or not. So yeah, it's a Chrome browser. As you could see the pop-up saying that Chrome is being controlled by automated test software, right? And this browser is launched and should navigate to angularjs.org, that URL which we have mentioned. It's a bit slow, but the problem. Next we'll see how we can, right now it is in the default size, so next we'll see how we can maximize this browser so that it should fully occupy the computer screen, right? That we can do it very well. And eventually it now launched the angularjs.org web page. So this is the web page I would like to launch using the Protractor tool. And as you could see, one test passed and these are the some blocks. Okay, so next we'll see how we can maximize this browser after launching it. You can use the simple command like browser, just press Control space bar in the Eclipse IDE, so it should show up different options which we can use. Browser, if you press dot control space, here you could see different options which are available, right? So this is coming from Protractor API. So now I would like to maximize my browser window, so I'll use browser.manage control space dot window dot maximize. That's it. Okay, so by using this command browser.manage.window.maximize, so it will maximize the browser. I'm just writing the comment, maximize the browser. Okay, all right, so I'll execute again, and it should maximize the browser. And I'm sure this time my session should be faster, because one time we have lost. And as you might know, as you might have guessed by now, that our Selenium server is still running, right? So we have opened two terminals. So on one terminal our Selenium server is running, so again I don't have to run every time like WebDriver Manager update or WebDriver Manager start. My Selenium server is still running in the background. I have to just write this command protractor conf.js, and it will execute my test. So this time it should launch the browser, and the browser window should be maximized. And as you can see now, this time execution is a bit faster because I'm running second time. So it has launched the Chrome browser window, so it will just load the components. And one more thing, like wait for Angular, like Protractor internally uses wait for Angular method, and which means it will wait for the application to load properly before it performs any operation on the application. So it has launched the browser, and we could not notice that it has maximized the window. So what I'll do, I will paste this line before getting the browser. So I'll press Ctrl X. So before getting the browser, I will just maximize my window. I'm just saving it. Let me run it again, protractor conf.js. So it has launched the Chrome browser, and it should maximize. Come on, here you go. It has maximized the Chrome browser now, and it has occupied full screen of the computer. Now it has navigated to the website angularjs.org. Alright, perfect. So this way we got to know how we can execute our Protractor test cases from Eclipse IDE. Alright, next thing, what is next? Next we'll see, let's try to write another test. So this is it is just navigating to the browser. Let me copy this and let's try to write another test, because in the suite name I have given regression suite, and in regression suite we should have multiple test cases. Okay, so this should be test 2, and here you can give your test name as per the application, as per the requirement. But for the time being, I'm just giving my test case name as just test 2. And here what I'll do, let me open this website just to understand the application properly. So in the Chrome browser, this time I'm manually opening this URL angularjs.org, and let's see what we can write as part of our test case 2. Okay, so let's try to understand the application. Okay, so this is the application angularjs.org. So it's AngularJS application. And now let's see in our test 2, let's say I want to click on this link, try the new Angular. So if I manually click on this link, try the new Angular, so it opens up another window, angular.io. Okay, so in our test 2, we will write test which will click on that big button. Okay, alright, so in test 2 I will write a test to click on this link. So it's a link. Okay, so in order to write this, we need to have some locator to this link. So in Chrome browser, what you can do, you can just right click on the element which you would like to inspect, and for the element of the application for which you want to write some locator, so just right click and click on this inspect. So once you click on inspect, like a window will appear, something like this, and here you could see the highlighted one, anchor tag A, right? This highlighted one, anchor tag A, whose class is this, right? And if I expand this, and here you could see try the new Angular, this text is written. Okay, this one. Okay, so which means DOM structure I could see of this element. Okay, and now I know that try the new Angular text is on this link. So let's try to write some locator for this. So in test 2, my test 1 was launch the browser and maximize it. Simple, right? In test 2, I will not maximize. In fact, I can maximize the browser. Okay. Now I would like to click on this link, try the new Angular. So what I need to do is, we have to use the method element, type ele, then control space element. Okay, element method we have to use. So once we use element, which means by using this element method, I want to locate element in Protractor. Just type by control space from the keyboard, element by. Okay, and we could see different options how we can locate the elements by dot. So we can, in Protractor we can, and you can see these Protractor are written, right? So in Protractor, let's see what are the locators are there. Okay, so in Protractor we can identify the element by button text if it's a button, right? Then class name, right? Then by class name also we can identify by CSS. So these are the element locators. By exact binding, right? By ID we can identify, and by link text. Like if you have worked on Selenium, like these are the locators which are available in Selenium, like ID, Xpath, right? Link text. Then we had partial link text. So these locators were already available in Selenium API. But the point which is noticeable here is there are some extra locators which is being provided by Protractor. So these are extra locators are like by.model, right? So by.model is not available in Selenium API. So it is available in Protractor, by.model. And by.name, it was available. By partial link text, it was available in Selenium and Protractor as well. Another new thing is repeater, by.repeater. So we can use this repeater also. So when we see the DOM structure of the AngularJS application, we could see these tags in the HTML, right? So now let's try to use Xpath in Protractor. We can use Xpath as well. So I will write Xpath for that button. Okay, so let's try to write Xpath. Okay, so this is the button, and try the new Angular, and through the test I would like to click on this try the new Angular, let's try to write Xpath for this. And I know the text is try the new Angular, so I will write the Xpath something like this: double slash, since HTML tag is a anchor tag, so Xpath I will write like double slash anchor tag, okay, then rectangular brackets which contains, I will use contains method. Here I'll pass text property, and then the text is, why I'm using contains, because you could see there are some space, right? It's not as it is in double quotes, there are some space, tabs, then we have this try the new Angular text. Okay, let me copy this, and if I paste, can I copy element, let me paste here, paste, let's try to paste something here, try the new Angular. So this is the text. Okay, so I have written the Xpath, element by dot Xpath contains text, okay, try the new Angular, and this is the bracket for contains, then we have rectangular bracket, then we have double quotes. Cool. Next I would like to and click on this, I would like to call click method. Let me just adjust it. Okay, so it's pretty simple. I have used element method. So element is provided by like in Selenium we had driver.find element, so in Protractor we have only simple element by dot Xpath, the Xpath of that particular button, and we would like to click on this, right? And I think that's it. So this is our test case 2. Let's see whether it's running perfectly or not. So now we have 2 tests. One is launching the browser, and the test 2 is clicking on that button. Again we have to use the command Protractor count.js, just press enter. So this time it should execute 2 tests. And by now you might have noticed, like in both the tests we have 2 common things, like launching the browser and maximizing the browser, right? This common code we can, and this we need in every test, right? And we are repeating that. So we have one solution for that. The common things we can use, we can separate it out, and which are needed before every test case. And for that we will use before each method, which is being provided by Jasmine framework. So before each method provides, okay, before every test case, if you want to perform something, let's repeat, before every test case, if you want to perform something, you can use before each method. And in before each method you could write your logic, whatever you want to have before every test case. That we'll see after this in this execution. Because we know for every test we should launch the browser, right? So this is the common thing before every test case. Might be we want to maximize the browser for every test case. So these common stuffs we can separate out. As you could see, this has launched the AngularJS.org, and this is our second test. It should click the try the new Angular page as well. Come on, it should click. And we had written the Xpath. I think it had clicked, but it was too fast that we could not notice. Notice thing we can also adjust. As you could see, there are 0 failures, which means both the tests have passed. It had clicked on this, and if you want to see the real whether it has clicked or not, so we could use some sleep method, browser.sleep. press Control space. So everything is available in Protractor. Milliseconds, so let's say we would like to wait for 5 seconds. So let's execute again. This time you should see that actually it has clicked on try the new Angular link, which is at the center of the page. Alright, so now it should launch the browser. And you could see, I mean, running from the Eclipse IDE is too simple, right? We are using the terminal, and every time we are able to execute our test from the Eclipse IDE itself. Now it has launched the Chrome browser, and this was I think the first test case is still running. It should navigate to the angularjs.org page. It has navigated. Now this is our second test, and it should click on try the new Angular button. Try the new Angular button, it should click. I think, yeah, now you could see it has navigated to another tab, angular.io. Because we had used this browser.sleep, so we could see that operation. Sleep I would not recommend, because it is not the best practice. So we should avoid using these sleep, because these are hard-coded waits. We should avoid, because at times it looks like okay, it has solved the synchronization issues of automation, but in reality they create problems. So I would recommend never ever use sleep methods. Alright, so okay, so I was saying before each method, right? And we could see the common code, like this window.maximize, right? I have written here in test2, right? And here also I have written browser.maximize, correct? The common code I can separate it out, and I could use this before each, control space, before each, and you could see this is being provided from the Jasmine framework. Okay, Jasmine framework, before each, and here we could write anything before each. So here before each I could write, let's say, console log. In JavaScript we use console log to print anything on the console. In Java we use system.out.println. In JavaScript we use console.log. So let's say this is inside before each. I'm just printing one message just to show that for every test case this line will execute. And let's say we place our common code which is needed for every test case. For example, let's say this, Control X, in fact the whole thing, Control Z, let's say Control X, because for every test case we should launch the browser and maximize it. Okay, and so which means I don't need these stuffs in test2. Let me delete it. Okay, so in test2 I have only this. Just find the element by Xpath and just click on it. No need to worry of launching the browser and maximizing it. Same way in test1 I could write some other logic. So we could write let's say I want to click on, let's say this link, learn. If I click manually it pop-ups this. Okay, now I would like to click on learn link in test1. So what I need to do, I need to find some locator for this. So I just right click on this and click on inspect, and here you could see it is also an anchor tag, right, whose text is learn. Okay, learn. So let's try to find this. Again we will use element, and then by dot, I'm again using Xpath. In fact we could use by dot link text, control space link text. Okay, and the text we could pass the text learn dot click. We will use click method. Pretty simple, right? So test 1, you just click on learn button. Test 2, click on try the new Angular click, and you can see in these tests the code to launch the browser, to maximize the browser is not available, but in execution you would see for every test case the browser will be launched and it will be in the maximize state, and it will navigate to the URL, the URL which we have mentioned, like this one, window.maximize. Okay, so let's try to execute. So yeah, again to execute our Protractor test, we'll use the command Protractor conf.js. So using Protractor conf.js, it should launch the browser. So in test 1, it should click on the learn link, and in second test it should click on the try the new Angular link. Before each is getting called, and we could see the browser and it is in the maximize state. So this is the first test case which is executing, and clicked on learn button, link in fact, and this is second, and it should click on try the new Angular. Here you go, the execution is completed, and we could see 2 specs, which means 2 tests, 0 failures, and in the test we could see in fact I should let me show you, because we have used before each, right? Before each I have printed this message. This is inside before each. If we are getting 2 times this one, which means for every test it was executed, because we have 2 tests only, right? Let me show you the console. This is the console. Just a second. As you could see, this is inside before each, this is inside before each, which means 2 times it got printed on the console. Okay, it proves for every it block, which means for every test case before each is getting executed. Okay, and let me show you, like similarly, so these are the common operations which we would like to perform before each test case, and similarly after every test case, if we want to perform anything, similarly we have after each. It's pretty simple, right? After each method, and in after each we could write any logic, some cleanup activity like closing the browser or something like that sort, and that all depends on the framework, I mean the requirement which you are working. So let's say for the time being, after every test case I'm just printing like console. Here you could write your own logic, but for the time being I'm just printing some message, console.log test passed or test execution completed. Okay, so this is after each method it should print, and let's say in every test we are printing some console messages, console.log test 1 started. Similarly in test 2 we'll write logs, let's see, test 2 started. So test is completed after each. Okay, now let's see, let's execute this and let's see what all gets printed on the console window. Let me clear this, CLS, clear everything, Protractor conf.js. So now it has launched the browser, which means before each method gets called, before test case 1 and test case 1 is executed, and right after test case 1 after each method will get called, and after that again before each, then test case 2, and then after each. So it's pretty complex to speak, but when we see the log it will be very easy to understand. So now the test case 2 is running. It should click on try the new Angular button. Here you go, the execution is completed. Now we could see 2 specs, 0 failures, which means our 2 tests got passed. And let me scroll a bit. In fact, let me maximize this terminal. Just double click on this, and now we could see the logs. And here you can see now test is started. This is inside before each, which means first time before each after test 1 is started, and then test execution completed. Test execution completed we had written in after each. Let me show you. Here you go. In after each function we have written test execution completed. After that this is inside before, again before each gets called, test 2, and then after each, which means test 1, before test 1 this before each, and after that execution completed. Then again before test 2, before each, and test execution completed. So it's pretty simple, right? If we want to perform common things before every test case and after every test case, in that scenario we should use before each and after each function, which is being provided by Jasmine framework. Okay, so this way we keep on writing test in Protractor. Right now I'm having one JavaScript file. Same way you could create different specs depending on different functionality area of the application. We create suit by this it block, we write some functions, and here we could write some validations also. And for validations in Protractor we use Xpath. Again, Xpath is being provided from the Jasmine framework, and you could see this expectations are built with the function aspect, which takes a value called the actual, right? So we'll see how we can validate something on the web page, right? And for that validations we use Xpath method, which is being provided by Jasmine framework. So when we talk about automation testing and when we write test cases, then in every test case we should have some validations, some assertions. So in Protractor we could write, we can also do validations. So now let's see how we can do validations in Protractor test case. So for validations we could use this Xpath, and which is provided by Jasmine framework, Xpath. Okay, and in Xpath, which means using Xpath method, we can validate and we can put some assertions for every test case. Let's say once the browser is launched, this browser is launched, and we clicked on link, learn link. Let's say we would like to validate the browser title. Okay, so the browser title is nvs.org. Okay, now we would like to validate. So what we could do, let's say Xpath, what we want to validate, we would like to validate the title. Okay, browser, how will you get the browser title? So in Protractor we could use browser dot, when you press control space, then press get, and you could see different options like get window handles, get capabilities, get current URL. So many methods are available in Protractor API. Same way we could see this get title method, this get title. So this browser.getTitle will return us the browser title. Okay, and in the expect method we are fetching the browser title. Then if you put dot and then again control space, then you could see bunch of options which is provided by Jasmine framework, like expect some value to be close to, right, to be less than, to be null. So these validations we can, these assertions we can perform, right, to match, right. Same way to equal, it is also being provided by Jasmine, right, to equal expected. Now I would like to expect, okay, it should equal to AngularJS.org. Alright, so this is one validation in our test one that before, like we have used before each. So it should launch the URL, it will maximize, and it should click on learn, and after that we'll validate, okay, the title is equal to this. And in test case 2, let's put some more validations. Again we could use expect, and in the expect we should pass something like let's say what kind of validation we can do here. Let's say again because we are on the same page, this time let's say again we are getting the browser title this way, and this time to equal, this time we will purposely give some wrong URL. Let's say https maybe some google.com for example. So we know this is wrong, right? So test 2 should fail because browser title at runtime it will fetch, which will be AngularJS.org, but we are equating it to google.com. So our test case 2 should fail because this expectation, this validation should fail, and first test case should pass because the title is correct. So this way we can put our validations, assertions into Protractor test cases, right? And using this way we can find the element in Protractor test. We can use by.xpath, by.id, by.css, and some new locators which is being provided by Protractor API like by.model, by.ng repeater, by.binding, etc. So now let's execute and see the result, whether our tests are passing, failing, what's happening. Now this time we have put assertions as well. So this is the complete structure, how we write our test cases in Eclipse IDE, how we create test using Jasmine framework, describe block, it block, how we identify the elements using the element method. In the element method we could mention different locators, and after that in every test case we put assertions using expect method, and expect method provide bunch of options to equate, to be greater than, to be not null. So many stuffs are available which is being provided by Jasmine framework. So in this test suite we have 2 tests, and we are expecting test 1 should pass and test 2 should fail because of validations. Has launched the Chrome browser. It's being loaded. There you go. Now it should navigate to the URL. It has navigated to AngularJS.org. Cool, great. It has clicked on learn link, and now this is the test case 2. It has clicked, it should click on try the new Angular. It has clicked. That's it, and we could see now. Let's see the logs. Let's maximize. Now we could see 2 specs, 2 failures. Let's see what happened. These are the logs. This is test 1, expected AngularJS superheroic JavaScript framework 2 equal AngularJS.org. Okay, title was something different. Okay, test case 2, no such window, target window already closed. Alright, which means 2 tests got failed. Let's try to comment this line. In test 2, we'll just get the title and will equate to this google.com, and in test case 2 also we will not perform anything, we'll just get the title and see. And in fact, let's try to console.log the title is browser.getTitle. Okay, and let's also print this in test 2 also. So now we have test 1, which gets the browser get title, and it will validate to angularjs.org, and test 2 again it will get the title and it will try to validate to google.com. Let's quickly execute this method. Let me clear everything. Let's run it. And in fact, let's see the logs in the maximize window. It is running now. It has launched the browser. It should navigate to the URL. Cool. AngularJS.org page has come. And it should get the title and it should print on the console. This is test case 2. Again, it should get the title and print on the console, and then the assertion. Okay. Let's see what happened. Our both tests got failed. Let's see the reason why both the tests have got failed. Let's see the log. Okay. Right. Title. Which means it was not able to get the title. And expected was this to equal this. Well, I think the title is coming out to be this AngularJS.super right framework. So let me but it shouldn't be the case. Alright, so this way we could write our assertions as well, and we can write our test in Protractor, we can write some logics, and then using the Xpath we could write our assertions, and depending on the different scenarios and the test cases. Alright, so that's all I would like to discuss in this session today, like how we can run Protractor test cases from Eclipse IDE, Jasmine framework we saw like before each and after each, and how we could identify the elements in Protractor. We mainly saw like Xpath using link text etc., and how we could run multiple tests. So it's all through we could write multiple tests in this file and spec1.js, and we just need to mention that spec file in config.js. And if we have multiple files like spec2.js, spec3.js files, we just comma separated, we have to mention here comma separated names. Alright, so that's all I would like to discuss in this session today, and thank you so much, and see you in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye.